All right, guys, let's connect it up here. Wait for YouTube to catch up, for everyone to join. And we're talking about the Walking Dead universe and yet another Sunday talking about the Walking Dead universe to all the Walking Dead fans, family, friends, whatever you want to call it, the Walking Dead family. I love them talking about the Walking Dead universe as a whole. So, of course, we'll talk about Fear the Walking Dead, and there's going to be a lot of discussion about that. So spoiler warning for all things Walking Dead, especially Fear the Walking Dead, Season 7, Episode 9, 10, and 11, as I've seen the episode so far. So it's one of those things where I'm not sure what they're doing on Fear the Walking Dead. I don't know. We'll get into it, guys. But let's wait for everybody to join to post their chats and just be a part of the discussion. We love talking about The Walking Dead as a whole. So, yeah, guys, for those who don't know, I'm going to talk about The Walking Dead universe, like probably first 15 minutes, maybe 20 minutes, I don't know. And then we'll talk about the last 30, 40, 45 minutes, whatever. We'll talk about Season 7, Episodes 9, 10, and 11. We'll, breeze through them because there's not much to talk about on Fear the Walking Dead so far. But, yeah, so we'll have to see. Hopefully you guys have seen Fear the Walking Dead. If you don't, that's okay too. Some people have given up on the show, and I understand why. And also some people stick up for that show, like it matters that much, right? It's funny when I make a video talking about just what's the point of Fear the Walking Dead. I just don't get it. Where is it going? What's the point of it? We knew where The Walking Dead was going because of the comic. And maybe if you didn't know the comic, then it would be the same thing. But Fear the Walking Dead, I just feel like they're winging it. Every season is some different conflict that could have been accomplished in 2 episodes, 3 episodes. You get new characters. They come and go. They paint themselves in a corner. And then they're like, nah, we're just going to reboot things. Doesn't really matter. We're going to bring people over to watch it. And I just don't know. Tony says episode 11 was better than 10 and 9. I agree, but season 7, episode 11 really wasn't that great either. But so we'll have to see how it goes down for the back half of season 7B, because the first 3 episodes have been pretty lackluster. The 4th episode is the halfway point of season 7B, or part 2, whatever you want to call it. And then hopefully we'll finally get the war in episodes, 13, 14, 15, 16. Hopefully we'll get those, actually get stuff done. So, I don't know. But hopefully you guys have checked in with the channel. You're staying in the know by subscribing. I'm going to assume if you're in the chat, if you're in the live stream, you're a subscriber. But ultimately, if you're not, it really helps the channel out. And we're going to talk about, the Walking Dead universe as a whole. But we want to talk about a couple things that have come up in the news. I guess the news, what's up, Eric? Not the news on TV, but the news in the Walking Dead universe on social media and everything there too. And there's recently been some developments that Carol, Melissa McBride, does not want to do the spinoff, the Daryl and Carol spinoff show, because of when they're going to film, where they're going to film, how they're going to film, something to do with filming. There's been misconstrued information, just potential information that's been going around. There's nothing been confirmed about anything. It could be misconstrued. We could be thinking of something else. It could be all hearsay. It could be that Melissa McBride wants to film in Georgia. Norman wants to film in New York. I don't know. Norman, I believe, has a place in Georgia and New York, 2 different places, with his daughter now, his Diana Kruger. I don't know if it's wife, girlfriend, fiance, whatever she is, but it's definitely something that people are talking about. So I could see something happening where Melissa McBride's I don't want to go to New York and film. I want to stay in Georgia. So would that be the nail in the coffin of the show? Of course not. Stuff can happen. They can film a little bit in Georgia and in New York. They can split it up. They can film in Georgia. But who's going to give? Norman or Melissa? If that's even the thing, that's just what people are saying, right? So once we get information, we share it with you guys. We don't know what to make of it because The Walking Dead has not had any comment on it. They did not post anything on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, anywhere that I've seen, any of their social media. So I'm just not sure if it's true, legit, or whatever, but I'm not sure. Now, like Masked Ninja, Carol better not die. I highly doubt Carol's going to die. Melissa McBride is one of the people that was given her role in The Walking Dead. Frank Darabont loved Melissa McBride from her time on The Mist. The movie really wasn't really much, but she was in it, and she was given the role of Carol. That being said, Carol is a far different character on the show than the comic, and Melissa has done a great job as it, and she's really kept the tone and had some major story arcs that has really been great for the show. And she's one of the OGs, and she's one of the highest paid people on the show, as she should be. Wilson Q&A, I really thought when Dwight, Sherry, and Morgan crossed over, we would head back towards the main show, but Fear the Walking Dead just seems further away than ever. That's not really a question, Wilson, but that's a statement, and I agree. When Morgan came along, we thought maybe they would bring the people back to the main show. But again, Fear the Walking Dead has done whatever they wanted to do, how they wanted to do it. They didn't want to have anything to do with the main series in the first 3 seasons. And then they're like, wait a second, that's pretty stupid. Why don't we have a major connection with the show? So then Morgan came over, then Dwight, Sherry, and those are the 3 crossover characters. We've had some new characters that have added to the show, some new characters that have come and gone. And it's just something that, I don't know. Again, I'm going to ask the question until the end of time. What's the point of the show and where is it going? Where is Fear the Walking Dead going? Because in my eyes, why don't they just leave the state of Texas? Just leave already, right? Like, it's so stupid for them to be like, you know what? We're going to fight over this tower. Like, the tower is the only thing left that's plausible and a good place to live in the entire United States ever. They're not on some island, which it would make sense if they were, because that's the only place that makes sense where they can stay. They're in the great state of Texas. It's a giant state. Also, it's connected and surrounded by states they could easily get to. But yet, we haven't seen them even discuss the idea of them leaving, except for minor things where they could get in a car and find Padre, and yet Padre doesn't exist. So they build up a lot of things, and yet to succeed. And that's just not on Fear the Walking Dead. That's in The Walking Dead for sure. Michael says the same thing here. Why don't all those people just leave and go to another state? Why fight over one tower? Is there anywhere places the tower to go? So, right, exactly. Just leave. Like, it's not like this big thing where, like I said, if they were on an island and that's the only place to go is the tower, then yeah, they would fight over it. But go somewhere else. Go back to Mexico. Go do something else. Like, it doesn't make sense. It's just logical that we're thinking about it, and it's just stupid too. So, Jonathan Wilder, Q&A, if it wasn't Morgan or Dwighty Boy going to Fear, then who would it have been? Well, I thought they were going to do the Abraham stuff, and we're still kind of hoping and waiting to see Abraham, Eugene, Rosita go meet up with Daniel and that group, or maybe if it was just Abraham, that'd be fine too. But they've hinted at things and with cigars and stuff. I don't know. So it's just a lot of things that aren't coming true, aren't happening. There's a lot of hearsay stuff, and there's 2 major things that connect with Rick. So let's talk about Rick Grimes for a little bit. Andrew Lincoln. So there's one major rumor. We'll just say rumor that Andrew Lincoln is going to be part of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And I'm sure somewhere, somehow, people are like, confirmed, it's confirmed. Andrew Lincoln's going to be part of the Walking Dead universe, or the Marvel Cinematic Universe, confirmed. What movie is going to be in? We don't know yet, but it's confirmed. Put up a nice Marvel logo and Andrew Lincoln in it. Boom, Photoshop, get some views. I'm sure that's happened, right? But there's nothing that's confirmed about it whatsoever. First of all, Marvel does a great job at hiding the fact that who is cast and how they're cast and when they're cast and what movies they're doing, except when they want it to come out. So it's just like, why would Andrew Lincoln go work for Marvel now? What would he, like, the other thing was that Norman Reedus wants to be, Ghost Rider. And he said that years ago. That's nothing new. But it's in these articles and these places pick it up, and they're like, Norman Reedus wants to play Ghost Rider. He'd be a great Ghost Rider. He can be riding a motorcycle. He could do this. Well, there's more to the character than him riding a motorcycle, but I think Norman Reedus would have been a great job, or would have done a great job. Nicolas Cage did a fine job in those movies as well. But there's been those things too, and we've had people from The Walking Dead be a part of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. They film a lot of that stuff in Georgia, so it's not that big a deal. And it's just, it makes sense. But again, right now, it's just another thing about Rick Grimes and Andrew Lincoln. Now, the latest thing, so it was actually pretty cool when I got a lot of this information. A bunch of people sent it to me about an article that was written by Covered Geekly. I don't know who they are. I don't know anything about them. I just know that they have posted stuff and people have checked into their backs, their history of things. And they've gotten a couple things right. One of them being that Andrew Garfield was going to be Spider-Man. So that's cool. But if that's the only thing we got, I don't know the validity of things. But it's good. It's better that you get some things right. I'm not trying to knock the person, the group, the company, whatever it is. I'm just saying I don't know about them. So if I don't know about their stuff, then I don't know. But I posted a video yesterday breaking down some potential rumors, news, and speculation that Andrew Lincoln filmed some stuff for season 11 of The Walking Dead. And mainly it's him in a firefight. He gets shot and wounded. He doesn't die, but there's practical effects in the clothing. There's test footage, photos. There's stuff there. So he was actually in Georgia a couple weeks ago or about a month ago or so now. I don't even remember exactly when it was. He was in New York. He was in the States end of last year, this year. So it makes sense that he could have filmed something. And I hope he did. I hope he does. And I hope we see him again. But from what I'm reading about it, it doesn't make sense for how that's going to fit in season 11, besides it being a post-credit scene setting up the Rick and Michonne show, the Rick Grimes show, the spinoff of a spinoff of a spinoff, the Rick Grimes movies, whatever it is. I mean, it just whatever it is. But I know the fans want to see Rick Grimes, and it doesn't matter if it shows up. Well, I mean, some people want him to show up in season 11, episode 17, and they want him to show up there, and they want him to be right there and be a big part of the show in the final part, which I would love that to happen, but I'm not going to hold my breath. I don't think it's going to happen. And if Andrew Lincoln filmed anything, it was probably a brief little post-credit scene that makes sense to build it up for the Rick Grimes stuff. No one has seen him in the Rick Grimes outfits. He could have been on the studio. It probably would have been in the studio. He could have been in Georgia, it could have stayed at Norman's house and then drove to the studio and could not seen him there too. So it's just one of those things where Andrew Lincoln left the show in season 9, episode 5. It was supposed to be where they were going to film the Rick Grimes movies. And it was going to be 3 movies that were going to be only in theaters, and it was going to be Universal and Skybound and all these people making the movies. And they're working on the script, working on this, trying to get the people in play, working on the script. And then COVID, and then this, and then the distractions and the problems and the pandemic and COVID and that. And they still don't have a script and still don't have this and still don't have this. And you're like, okay, well, we're coming up on season 11, episode 17, and no hint or mention of Rick Grimes. They've hinted on World Beyond, like there was a guy and a thing, and I had to do the right thing, and he was never a B, and he was an A, and he was never an A, and he was a B, and I had to do the right thing. They don't even mention his name, but we knew it was Rick Grimes. And you're like, that's cool and all, but we still haven't heard from Michonne. And if Michonne never comes back, like Rick is one thing, right? Like Rick was abducted, taken away in a helicopter. We'll see where that goes. But Michonne left on her own. Michonne has not even checked in with Judith or checked in with people. Like, how are my kids doing? How's RJ? How's Judith? How's everybody doing? Like if Denai Guerrero was filming Wakanda Forever in Georgia, the next Black Panther movie, she could have easily done some voiceover work. She doesn't even have to be seen. You don't have to put the wig on and the outfit and anything like that. You could just have her do some voiceover work on the radio. Like, how's my Judith doing? How's RJ? I just want to see how we're doing. Okay, great. Done. Great. Okay, thank you, Michonne. And that'll be 10 minutes of your life. But, it's like, what? I don't know. I mean, when people leave the show, maybe they leave it for money, to do better things. They're tired of stuff. I don't know. It's just one of those things where we're getting towards the end of it. The stuff with Rick is going to be coming out more and more and more and more. So when I posted the video about the Rick Grimes stuff, the huge rumor news, and is it true, the people Covered Geekly, I guess they have a YouTube channel and social media. they wrote on the comments on there too, which I thought was pretty cool. And they state that they're going to have video or photos or something's going to come out, I think, in May. So next Sunday is May 1st. So you got next week, the final week of April. Let's get into May. We're getting closer to, when The Walking Dead returns in fall, which we think is going to be October. And they said that they're going to have some footage or whatever and post it. So if you say that, you got to deliver, right? People will promise you the world and not deliver. That's pretty frustrating. It's really annoying when people can say, I'll do this, I'll do that, and blah, 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 and then they don't. I remember having that feeling in middle school where people say and promise you all this stuff and then they fall through. They fall flat. And you're like, I can't trust what this person says. They don't do it, right? It's just dumb. And people can do that more than ever on social media. They can hide behind their accounts. And I'm not saying that Covered Geekly is going to do that, but if you promise something or you state something and you want to say it's going to get done, you got to do it or you lose credibility. It just doesn't look good, So hopefully stuff comes out and we'll get to see it. But then when we don't have proof or pictures or it's speculation, people are like, I'll believe it when I see it. Why would they do that? Why would they say that? To draw us in. They would say that to say that, and they're going to say that. Well, that's not Walking Dead saying that. It's other groups and other people in there too. So we'll have to see how it gets done. But ultimately, when we get the news, we share it with you guys, and then you have to decide if it's legit or not. I believe what I believe, and I believe it when I see it. I try to be positive, but I'm also a realist. So we'll have to see what happens. But Rick Grimes coming back around needs to happen on some level. It doesn't have to be some huge level, in my opinion. I do love the idea that Rick Grimes shows up in a minor way, setting up the next part of Rick's story, right? So by now, all 3 movies should be written. I don't want to hear Gimple and whoever is oh, we don't know about this stuff and we're writing it. We want to do it right. Just get it done. What are you talking about? How do you not have the script and have it read? Gimple's going to come on and be yeah, we're going to have this and we're not doing this. And yeah, well, we're working on it. And I know the fans are going to yeah, so we got it. Okay, Gimple, just give us something. It's over. The Walking Dead show is over. Give the fans something to do it. You're already losing the fan base, over and over and over again. And if you don't do some crowd control or damage control or whatever control, it's going to be too little too late. People aren't going to care about it. So, that's my hot take on it. I want to see Rick Grimes again. I like Andrew Lincoln. I like the Rick Grimes stuff, and I love how it would fit. So we'll have to see. Like Eric says, there are no Rick Grimes movies. Going to be very disappointed. Or I don't even care if it's movies or if it's a spinoff or if it's a movie for AMC Plus or something. I'll be good. I'll be fine with it. I'll be fine too. So Isaac says, bro, Fear the Walking Dead is grass without the G. Well, I guess it's without the GR, but I don't know. It's just what's up, Tommy Griffin Jr.? So, and it's funny when people are like, you don't have to talk about things if you don't like it. You're right. And you don't have to comment if you don't want to too. But, when I could just probably say everybody in here loves the Walking Dead universe, right? Or is bought into the Walking Dead universe, right? It's a zombie apocalypse story. Some things are dumb. Some things don't make sense. The continuity of things is all over the place. And we're going to get fast walkers now that are potentially using knives and opening doors or turning knobs and all that stuff to go back to season 1. But that's what shows do, right? Everything comes full circle. Where you start and where you end, it makes a circle. It comes back around again. Everything comes back around again as well. So I just makes sense for them to do certain things, callbacks, connections. And I would love for them to go back to the prison and stuff like that, but that's not going to be plausible. I would love for them to have done that on Tales of the Walking Dead. So we'll have to see. So Ryan says, or asks, should I even bother watching Fear episode 10 tonight? Well, let's talk about that. Let's just get to the 20-minute mark. In the last 40 minutes, we'll talk about Fear the Walking Dead. So, but that's the latest news about Rick Grimes and stuff there too. And I hope stuff comes out and we get more information. But Talking Dead is not going to have any talking. They're not going to have any more Talking Dead episodes until the finale of the season 7, the season 7 finale, which I think is very telling. The guests for Talking Dead, the finale, season 7, episode 16, are Alicia Debnam Carey, Madison, Kim Dickens, and one of the showrunners. So by that time, Kim Dickens will have been back on the show because we already know she's coming back. And why is Alicia there? I would assume she dies in the season 7 finale. That's just my guess, my hypothesis, my theory, my speculation right now. Is she going to actually see Madison before she dies? How does she die? Does the sickness overtake her? Does Strand actually take her out? Does Strand get wounded? I could see it being a finale that's a cliffhanger where does Alicia die? Is Strand mortally wounded? And Madison with her group of people, how did she do? How did she survive? What did she do? Because the big thing is that Madison's coming back, but more importantly, it's going to set up season 8 too, is what they said, is what the showrunner said. I'm not the biggest Madison fan. I know people like her, people don't like her, but either way, Madison's coming back whether we like it or not. So we got to just deal with it too. Jonathan Wilder, Q&A, do you think Judith will be the old lady Judith in the future, like Carl should have been old man Carl? I don't know. I don't think they're going to have like old lady Judith. I don't think Judith's going to be like 55 years old and she's like got a cane, 55 in a zombie apocalypse is ancient. But I don't think she's going to be like, oh, let me tell you a story, boys and girls. Let's get around the campfire. Like, I don't think it's going to be that. I think she'll be older for sure, too. So I see a bunch of people saying a bunch of different plot holes and stuff, like talking about Cindy from Oceanside and Heath and a bunch of loose ends. And, I don't, it's just crazy, right? It's just a lot of stuff that's just not answered. And I don't know why it's going to be there, too. So let's talk about Fear the Walking Dead, guys. Okay, so if you're an AMC person, you've seen season 7, episode 9, episode 10 airs today. If you're an AMC Plus, you could have watched episode 7, 9, 10, and 11. So I've seen episodes 9, 10, and 11, and they're pretty boring, pretty lackluster, pretty much all filler episodes. And, it's pretty weak. I just don't know what's the point of this. Like, season 7A was pretty good. They had the stuff with the sub and the Padre and Tower and stuff, and it was setting some things up. And Alicia's like, I'm going to take what's meaningful to you. I'm going to take the Tower. Well, not yet. They had barely even done anything with the Tower. Nothing in a meaningful way in 9, 10, and 11. So, in season 9, we meet Paul. He rescued Alicia. He's got red all around his house. He's got a hearing aid that's got red on it, red bagpipes, all this stuff. He shoots Arno in the hand, and he ends up dying so Alicia can get away. So we meet Paul. Paul's killed off. Alicia gets to the submarine, talks with Morgan. Morgan and Alicia say, what are you going to do next? Well, I'm going to go back to the bunker for the radio. Don't try and stop me. I'm going to try and get the message out. Padre, Padre, Padre. Padre wasn't real. Padre isn't a real thing. I can be Padre. Padre can be a place, like the stuff from like Thor. Like, oh, it doesn't have to be a place. It's a people. So I guess we're doing that whole thing where Padre is just the people that are going to be around there. It's an idea of how they can survive and stuff to build for the future. A government program, a secret government program. So Alicia goes away, and the submarine is that. And then as Arno is being taken back to his place, they come across a crater that was one of their where the bombs hit, I'm guessing, or debris hit, and there's all these walkers in there. Radioactive walkers, super radioactive. If any of them get out, it's major bad news. Some of them get out as of season 7, episode 11. And Arno has like a wound on his hand. Thought it was like could have been a bite, but it's not. But either way, he cuts his hand off. It looks really terrible in season 7, episode 11. But before that, season 7, episode 10 has nothing to do with season 7, episode 9. We meet a new character, Ollie. He comes and goes. He's wearing red. He's surrounded by red. He gets killed in the same episode. It's all about Ollie and Charlie. Charlie and Ollie are having like a romantic thing. Charlie's supposed to be like 13. Ollie's supposed to be 15. So it's a teenage love story in the zombie apocalypse. And Howard is looking over the tower, and he doesn't trust Charlie, and Charlie's there to basically turn off the light so then Morgan can sneak in and get the baby and Grace. And none of that happens, and it's a big thing where Ollie tries to help Charlie, and Charlie's sick from the radioactive stuff, and she's not going to make it, but she's still alive. And Ollie's like, I'll turn off the light for you, baby. Don't worry. I'll do what I can do. He gets caught. Howard takes him out. He gets attacked by Ollie. He has no choice but throws him off the edge. Ollie becomes part of the walkers down below, and Charlie gets pissed and cries, and Howard says he had no choice. John Dory Sr. is playing both sides and says he tries to get the ear of Howard, but it's not going to work because Howard is not really going to listen to anybody but himself. John Dory Sr. comes up with a plan to go talk to Strand that we'll see in Season 7, Episode 12. Then basically June says to Charlie, you're going to stay alive to see that I will take down Strand. So again, they're fighting over the tower. We don't even see Strand until Season 7, Episode 12. So Mercer is wearing orange armor. So Mercer is not wearing red. He's wearing orange armor. But ultimately, the big deal is that we have a new character. Paul comes and goes, die. Ollie comes and goes, dies. Season 7, Episode 11 is a better episode for sure, but it focuses on Daniel. Daniel he has dementia. He's not doing well. His memory is there. Would you call it Alzheimer's? Would you call it old age? Would you call it whatever? He's got dementia. He can't really remember things. He feels like Ophelia is alive. Season 7, Episode 11 is titled Ophelia. Season 7, Episode 10 is titled Morning Cloak, off of a butterfly. It's talking about butterflies and symbolism and all this stuff. And those episodes are fine. But not when you're building up, like Alicia came around, there's going to be this war, Strand and this, and there it is. And we're like, well, what happened to the war? What happened to Battle for the Tower? What happened for all this stuff? Nothing. You have to stay tuned for the back half of Season 7B, hopefully the final 4 episodes. We're still not there yet. So Season 7, Episode 11 focuses on Daniel, Luciana, and Wes, which is fine. There's so many characters that they kind of have to have their own episodes. Sherry says that Dwight found a weapons cache. They need to go get the weapons. And Sherry and I guess Sarah go to get there because as well also at the beginning of the episode, Luciana is playing a memory game with Daniel. A memory game is fine, but it's not going to make him like remember stuff. It's good to have like challenge yourself, but it's not going to really help things that much. But he finds a boat and he thinks of the Abigail and he calls Luciana actually Ophelia. So again, we know that he's not in the right mind, but ultimately Daniel has lost his mind and he's going to try and find Ophelia. But we all know that Ophelia is gone. And it's just like so much over and over and over and over again. Like he's out of his mind. He doesn't know this. He's having dementia. He's not of sound mind. He's not this. He's in danger. It's just like overblown and overdone. It's overkill. And it's, a 45-minute long episode that should have been done in 20 minutes. But they stretch it out and they have these other things. So as they're trying to get ready to leave the submarine to go get Dwight and get the weapons, Wes comes out and says, well, I tried to go see Daniel, and Daniel's left. Well, I sealed the hatch so he can't get out. Well, he's actually left the submarine. So Daniel is walking in the woods, and there's like a playground or something, and he's kind of like, hey. He's not in the right mind, and he sees a walker on the merry-go-round, and then a walker comes out of nowhere and attacks Daniel. Somehow, some reason, he takes his mask off, kills the walker, gets up, looks back, gets on his radio, and he's like, there's a lot of Spanish. It's subtitles, but there's a lot of Spanish in the episode, and he's talking about like Mija or whatever. He's trying to figure out who is there and trying to find people that aren't there. It's Wes and Luciana. They take the masks off. They say it's fine because they say the numbers are fine. Then why are they wearing the masks? But ultimately, all they got to say is that it's fine. It's good. But the whole stuff with the radiation and the radioactive stuff is just kind of comical at times. So the gunfire, Daniel fires a bullet, and Luciana takes her mask off, and she's like, he's like, I remember you guys. I know you guys. And like, come on, Daniel, we need to go. It's not safe here. No, I need to find Ophelia. I need to find Ophelia. I need to find Ophelia over again. I need to find Ophelia. And we know Ophelia's not there. Like, so we feel bad for Daniel, but it's just overkill. It's just, after a while, I'm like, just let Daniel go. Like, if he's going to go die, let him go. Like, don't try to save this guy and you die or you get injured because you're trying to save this person. Like, I just see that happening. It doesn't happen, but I see that happening and coming up too, right? So we see the whole thing with Wes wants to leave and do his own thing. Luciana wants to help Daniel, and Daniel doesn't know what he's doing. And that's basically the whole episode. Then Arno, which is a terrible name. It should just be called Arnold, but it's Arno, comes over, and there's his whole group of people come over, and they kidnap Daniel, Wes, and Luciana and bring them back to some place. And they're on these platforms where there's all these planks that are raised up, and they have stuff where they can stay in there, and there's walkers all around them. Like, why do they have all these walkers around there? Why do they have let these walkers get even close to them? But there's walkers all around there, so it's kind of dangerous and whatever. They take off their equipment and stuff, and they say it's safe here. Arno's like, take your stuff off. We need to get information from you. We need what it is. Daniel's like, I'm going to take them out. Don't worry. I'm CIA trained. I can take these people out. I can do these things. Even though he's from like Colombian cartel or something, like he's not CIA trained, but in his mind, I don't know. So he takes the gun. Well, first of all, Arno chopped his hand off. And, his hand is like cut from here. So it looks really bad. It looks really stupid. Like, it's not CGI. It's like they just put a fake piece of meat thing. I don't know. It's like a covering that goes over his hand, and it looks really bad. You can tell it's just an extended part. Like, his hand is still there, but I couldn't help but laughing at it too. So as they're walking around, Arno says that he heard them over the radio talk about the guns, and Daniel sees the gun in Arno's waistband, and he grabs it and points it at him, and he's like, I'll shoot you. And he's like, yeah, don't worry, guys, I got this. So Daniel pulls the trigger, no bullets. So Arno wasn't afraid at all. They got no bullets, so who cares, right? So that's the problem. They need bullets. They're hard supplied, hard to come by, right? Even though they're in the great state of Texas, that would be all over the place, you would think. But, nonetheless, maybe they're all at the tower. But Dwight does find some weapons and bullets in the weapons cache at the end of the episode, so we do see that. So Arno basically says, where are the guns? Where do we need to go? Where's Dwight? Where are the coordinates? They lock up Luciana and Daniel, and they put Wes in this metal contraption thing that they're going to lower him down to the walkers. And it's some like mechanical thing. Like, is that running on gas? Like, how are you powering it? But either way, it's got a device and it's lowering him down. It's like, and he's like, whoa, what are you doing? What are you doing? Oh, yeah, I'll never tell you. I'll never tell you anything. And they slowly lower it to him. It's very dramatic, but Wes lives. Daniel says to Luciana, we got to say something. We got to do something. We got to do this. I'm going to tell him the coordinates. I'm going to do this. And Luciana's like, what? What are you doing? That's not good. We shouldn't do this. Well, we have to do something. We have to do that. And he's like, hey, guard. Calls the guard over. Calls him over. I want to talk to your leader. I want to give him information. Are you sure? You mess with me, you're going to do this, old man, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so then Luciana says, I got to come with him to translate to help him. So Daniel and Luciana leave the jail cell, holding cell, whatever you want to call it, and go find Arno and Wes, and they're doing their thing there. Stop the contraption before Wes is in danger, and says, here, I'm going to tell you where it's at. There's a boat over there. Like, they have a boat. It's like, I guess it's a marina dock that they have, like, boats that, or I guess it's just boats that came up in the middle of a field somewhere, and they have them propped up, so they're living in the boats or staying in the boats, but you can walk. These platforms are raised, so you're not really worrying about the walkers because you're above them. But Daniel remembers the card. He actually has the memory card with him, and he's like, see, this was a sign. We did this earlier, and this was telling me that Ophelia is in the boat. She's in there. The Abigail. That's the Abigail. And we know it's not the Abigail because there's nothing to do with that. Not the same thing as well. So the whole thing is like, my daughter. And they don't, Arno and his group doesn't know that Ophelia is dead. So they're like, what are you talking about? Yeah, your daughter? I haven't seen your daughter. I don't know your daughter. What's your daughter? And Luciana knows about Ophelia and stuff. So she knows what happened to him. And she repeatedly tries to tell him, your daughter's gone. She left. She's not here. And then she's dead. No, she's not. I don't agree. It's like, there's no getting to people. If you've ever dealt with people that have memory issues and cognition things and dementia, there's really no getting through to them until they understand what's going on. They're confused, and it's disheartening, and it's a shame. And it's a thing of life, and it really happens. And it's kind of good that they brought it in the show, but it's too much and overkill, and it's like overdone with like how much emphasis they're putting on it and there and this. But the whole thing is that Daniel knows how to get to Strand. So they're going to use Daniel to get into the tower somehow. Like Daniel's going to know how to do that. But Daniel needs to be brought around and kept alive to get into the tower. Because some reason they think it's going to be that way too. And we know that Daniel is important for the show, even though if a person that you captured or kidnapped or whatever grabbed your gun, tried to execute you, tried to kill you, you would just eliminate them, right? Like, why would you keep this old man around? He's not worth all these problems. But we know Daniel is worth it. So Daniel tells Arno, after a bunch of back and forth, writes down the coordinates on a card. Like, how would you know the coordinates? Like, how do you know that? But either way, writes it down on the card and tells Arno that it was, it's so far away that it's going to take them a day to get there and back or whatever, too. So half of their group, I don't know why it was half, but half of the group left Arno to go find the weapons. They don't ever find the weapons. Dwight actually finds them or brings them back to the sub at the end of the episode. But Daniel has come up with a plan. So Daniel, Wes, and Luciana are back into the holding cell, right? So they're sitting there, and Daniel's like, I have to come up with a plan, and how are we going to do here? They're going to come back and kill us, blah, blah, blah. So they do the old man down. He's not doing well. He needs help. So he's laying down in the middle of the holding cell. Luciana's like, oh my God, we need help, guards, help us. The guard comes to the door. He better not be doing this. Get back. He better not try anything. So then he goes and he pulls the Daniel. Is he alive? He's not alive. Well, if he turns and he does this. So he comes in the jail cell, looks at Daniel. Daniel evidently stole a knife or pickpocketed a guy with a knife. It's this little tiny knife that he puts to the guy's throat. He's like, oh. All right, let's go. Take me to the boat. Take me to my daughter. And the guy's like, I don't know what you're talking about, sir. Your daughter's not here. But just take him to the boat. So they all go to the boat. Of course, Ophelia's not in the boat. He tries to figure out what's going on. No, the boat. No, this and that. So they take the guy outside the boat and they talk. Points him down to the walkers and he's like, where's my daughter? What's this other two, right? So he slices the guy's throat as he's about to say something to Wes about Wes's brother, that they bring up Wes's brother again. Like, who cares about that guy? Like, he was killed by Wes last season, but the whole thing about Tanktown and this comes up again or whatever. It's just dumb in my opinion. But either way, Daniel kills the guy. And no one is around to like stop him or see them or whatever. Like, there's just no one around at all. Like, it's just what's going on here. But either way, the guy had his throat slit. As they're walking back to go through there, Daniel removes one of the boards, and so he's on one side of the platform and Wes and Luciana are on the other. And it's really kind of stupid. But either way, Daniel says, look, I need to go do this. You need to stay here. I don't want you to get hurt. I don't want you to get injured. I got to go find my daughter. I need to go do this other stuff. So Daniel goes away. Wes and Luciana talk. They're by the boat. They're stuck there. They end up killing the guy so he can turn. They stab him in the head. So he doesn't turn. And then Daniel goes to Arno. And, there's a girl that kills a walker with a harpoon, which is a good weapon because it's so long and it's got the metal. But you see the walkers with the growths, the pustules, whatever you want to call them, growing there too, the radioactive walkers. They're escaping the bunker. And Arno says that somebody is letting them out. So we don't know who that is. But either way, the walkers are getting out of the bunker. And I guess it could be Strand because we haven't seen Strand in forever. But either it was some other group, I don't know. But either way, the girl goes away that's helping Arno. And she goes to do something. And Daniel comes behind Arno, has a little knife again to his throat, puts him in the little holding cell thing that Wes was in previously, and Daniel locks the thing, and he starts to lower the contraption down to the walkers. And he's like, you lied to me. You said my daughter was here. You said this. You deserve to die. You're this. And so Arno's like going down, and going towards the walkers. And he's like, I was trying to protect my group, my people. You would do the same thing. And then walkers start munching on Arno, and they kill him. So the red theory again connects, and Arno dies because he had red on his gas mask. There's red cans and red stuff all around him. And either way, he dies. So Arno is killed. So 3 episodes, 3 minor, well, I guess Arno is a little more than a minor character, but 3 people die in 3 episodes. Arno, he gets bit, ripped up, his legs are kind of destroyed, and somehow Luciana and Wes come over to Daniel. And he's like, he had to die. He had to do this. He lied to me. Blah, blah, blah. And so then they bring the platform thing back up, the holding cage thing back up, and they ask Arno some questions, who's still alive. And Arno says about the radioactive walkers, and they need to get out of here, and it's not safe, and they need to leave. And, Arno ends up passing out and dying. And then Wes, puts the harpoon in and kills Arno's brain so he doesn't turn. Wes and Luciana look at each other like, what about the other people that are Arno's people? They're like, it's so funny. They're just treating these people like sacrificial lambs. Like they don't have a mind of their own. Like they can't think about it. They're just like worker bees or drones or whatever. Like they're just going to do whatever they say. So Wes is like, well, what about these people? What can we do? Well, we have to try and save them. We got to help them. So then they address the group and they're like, well, we killed some of your people. You hurt some of our people. We have to let the past go. If we have any chance of making it, we have to work together. And the one girl that was with Arno's like, okay. So they're going to join them. So now they have their army, basically the group that Alicia wanted to do and wanted to get on her side. Didn't work out. They do it two episodes later. So now they have the people to fight Strand. As everyone's putting their gear back on, Daniel's like, well, you're not going to be able to, deliver. And it's like, they can hear. They're all in the same room. Like, everybody can hear what you have to say. Bring up the questions to Luciana. It's just so funny. Everyone's like putting their gear on, and Luciana's like, well, we have to try. We have to do this. And Daniel's like, well, you're not going to be able to deliver what you said. So they're going to hate you, and they're going to do this. No one says anything to Luciana, brings up any questions about that. They're like, okay, yeah, sounds good. We'll just go along with it. You're like, just so stupid. But either way, Daniel is basically putting up a fight with all this stuff. And Luciana basically comes to the conclusion that she's going to have to lie to Daniel to get them to do what they need, which they need Daniel to go against Strand for some reason. Like, Daniel is the key. Daniel knows how to take out Strand. Like, Daniel is an old person with dementia right now. Like, he can't even know what's going on. He thinks his daughter is still alive, and he thinks all this stuff is happening. And he thinks it's there too. So you're like, all right, I guess we'll roll with it. But Wes takes it to heart, and he's like, well, I can't really be around this. I don't want to be around this. You're lying to Daniel. I can't trust you. I can't trust what you're doing. And he gets like, he's like a big baby, like a whining baby about it. And he's like, yep, I'm not going to go with you. Here, Luciana, take my little test meter thing for some reason. And yeah, I don't know where I'm going to go, and that's it. Turns out he goes to the tower, and he gets the call thing, and he calls in. I need to talk to Strand. Okay. And he says, yeah, so I can help you guys. So does he actually flip against Strand, or does he go against our group and join Strand? Does he just want to get in the tower? Is he trying to stay alive? Is he being the spy traitor type angle like the Walking Dead universe loves to do? We'll have to see, but they set that up for the remaining episodes. But so basically, Luciana tells Daniel that Arno told her that Ophelia is alive. And where is Ophelia? In the tower, because that's what they need Daniel to do. Get in the tower, get them in the tower, because the tower is the only safe space in the entire world for them to be around, right? But ultimately, that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to set up the war more and more, set up, and then hopefully we get some action-packed stuff in the back half of Season 7 Part B. We still haven't had it yet. So ultimately, that's where it ends up with Daniel says, then that's where we go. We go to the tower. So Wes goes to the call box and calls the tower people. Luciana and Daniel go back to the submarine. Dwight found the guns. Morgan says, we got the guns, we got this. We just needed an army to shoot, to be a part of it, right? Okay. Luciana's like, here's our army. The girl that was with Arno and all those people that were with Arno are now part of Morgan's group on the submarine. So you're like, okay, there you go. Daniel comes in and says, hey, you know what? We have to come up with a plan to get into the tower. And Morgan's like, okay, good. So it worked. You got good. So Luciana basically lied to Daniel. That's not going to go well because Luciana isn't going to be able to deliver Ophelia. But I found it interesting. A couple things. Luciana has 2 red lines on her jacket, and she has some red stuff around her. Also, Wes has some red stuff on the glove, the big gloves that he's wearing. And Daniel says to Luciana that we'll go to the tower and we'll all, like Daniel, Ophelia, and Luciana will all be together. So if Luciana, Ophelia, and Daniel are all going to be together, Daniel and Luciana have to die because Ophelia's dead. That's the only way they'll be together. So was it subtle? Was it symbolism? Was it foreshadowing? Was it stupid writing? Was it just words? I don't know. But they set some things up. Could we lose Luciana? For sure. To me, she's outlived so much. She's been a character that has come and gone because she came in season 2, left in season 3, came back in season 4, and has really been minor supporting role since Nick left. Don't know what the point of the character is, but she's been around. Daniel, how much longer can Daniel be alive? Right? I mean, it just seems like one of those things where he's just a character that I like. My favorite characters in the first couple seasons were Daniel and Nick. Nick got killed off in season 4. Daniel's still alive, but he's a shell of himself. He was kind of a badass character. They're doing the old man stuff with Daniel, and it's all right. But next week, we're going to see Strand. We're going to see the tower. We're going to see Grace. We're going to see the baby. We'll see Morgan, I'm guessing. We'll see a bunch of stuff happening at the tower. John Dory Sr., June, and we'll see. Hopefully it gets better, more action-packed. I mean, like, one of the major things was going to be them, Morgan and Alicia versus Strand, and we haven't seen Strand at all in the first 3 episodes. But we'll see him next week in episode 7-12. So hopefully we're getting there. It's just like, it's a slow burn, right? And I don't mind a slow burn, but when it's a slow burn and the payoff isn't that good, it's just lackluster in my opinion, right? And I just don't know what they're doing here because we know that Madison is coming back and there's been no hint of that. So are we just going to have like crappy episodes, hopefully a good war effort, action-packed episode, and then the Madison episodes, and then the season's over? Like, is that what we're going to, or are we going to get 1 episode with Madison? Is that going to be how the season ends? That Madison comes back for that? I mean, I don't know. Like, I really don't know what they're doing here. And I'm going to watch, but it's just like, man, they're not doing any favors to bring anybody to the story. Like, if you love the show, like, if your favorite, like, some people think Fear the Walking Dead is better than The Walking Dead. And that's good. I don't think so. But it's just like people stick up for Fear the Walking Dead like it's their child, like you're blatantly disrespecting them. But I just don't see it. It's just not that good overall. Like, I just can't see where it's going, you know? Padre, and then what's Padre? Nothing. Like, what are we talking about? They build it up for nothing. There's no payoff. And that's kind of what the show is. There's just nothing to it. It just goes all over the place. I think they're winging it. Like, you know what we're going to do? We're going to do this, and we're going to go to Mexico, and we're going to come back, and then we're going to have this, and we're going to go on a ranch, and then we're going to come here, and then we're going to be at a stadium, and then we're going to go this, and then we're going to have this weird group, and then we're going to have this weird lady come here, and then we're going to stay there, and then we're going to be this place, and then we're going to have a submarine with an explosion, and they're going to have radiation for 2-3 seasons of it. Why not just leave the state? If they don't leave the state in season 8, I don't know what they're doing, but if they're filming it in Savannah, Georgia pretty soon, I believe they're going to start filming as the early word. We'll have to see, but it's like, come on. Christy Will says, hey, Doc, I think Madison will be on Strand's side when she comes back, just to add tension. I don't know, right? Like, I mean, Madison, I don't know if she's going to be part of the war. I just don't know what they're doing. I just don't. I think they're going to have like the war. It's going to be like the very end of it, where they're going to have like Howard the Duck. Yeah, hopefully you know that movie. But Howard, Strand, and his disciples. Strand has to go down, right? Strand has to fall. But does the tower fall because of the war? Like, does nobody get the tower anymore, right? It's just crazy to think about it. Where it's going to go, but I just don't have any faith where they're going because they're all over the place. They go to this place, they have kids in the story, they have to build an airplane that crash landed, and then they have to put it together to fly back. They have this villain, that villain, Ginny. The end is the beginning. People, it's just been all over the page, a hodgepodge of stuff, and it just feels discombobulated for sure too. So, let me see. The Big Bang Theory Sheldor Q&A. Did you hear that Madison won't just be a cameo and could return in the 100th episode, aka episode 15? I haven't heard anything about. I definitely know she's not going to be a cameo because in season 8 she's going to be a series regular. Back to that, but I think she's going to be a bigger part at the end of the season 7 to set up season 8. So yeah, she's not going to be a cameo. She's going to be back on the show for sure. Tim Young, thank you for the super chat. Hey man, love the channel. I have been watching you for years. Keep up the news. Hopefully we get Rick back. Thank you, Tim. I appreciate that. I appreciate the love and support over the years. I want Rick back too. And I mean, at the end of the day, I want the show to have a rewarding, just a finish. You know, it started off great. The first season, the pilot episode is great. The pilot episode of The Walking Dead is still one of the best episodes of the series. Will the final episode be one of the best episodes of the series? It's hard to do that. It's really hard to end something. A lot of episodes and a lot of series suck. Their series endings suck. Their series finales aren't good. I mean, the only one that really jumps out to me that is great is the Breaking Bad series finale. But then they had the El Camino movie with Jesse. And then they have the prequel stuff with Better Call Saul. And I don't know if you guys watch Better Call Saul, but the first 2 episodes of the final season have been really good so far. I've enjoyed them for sure. But thank you, Tim. I appreciate the super chat. And yes, I want Rick back as well. I think we're going to get just a post-credit scene. Like it'd be great if it was like 2 minutes, 2-3 minutes. It'll probably be like 15 seconds. But you know, if it was like a minute, 2 minutes long, I think that'd be pretty cool. And I think that's what we're going to get. It just makes sense to me. Lynette says, Fear the Walking Dead started out great, but got lost along the way. And yeah, I mean, when the show has multiple showrunners and a hodgepodge of stuff and different locations and the writing is this and maybe it's different writers and I don't think they know where it needs to be. Like, I'm not a professional writer by any means, but if I was going to tell a story, whether it's talking about a story, I'm not going to say like, hey guys, you know, I went to the store and then I went here and then remember this thing I did 15 years ago when there was a thing that I did there and I started my YouTube channel this and I did that and I'm a physical therapist and I did this and there's wait, I went to the store. Like it'd be all over the place and you're like, that's stupid. Like that's so dumb, right? Or a book where it doesn't line up and there's too many characters coming and going and stuff doesn't end. It doesn't start. There needs to be a beginning, middle, and end. A climax, the apex of the story, and there needs to be bookmarks. There's a start and end, whatever it is. Character, story, development, new people, a new story. Stuff needs to begin to start to end, begin to start to end, and over again. Over seven seasons of a show. That's crazy to think of all these different places and all these people that have come and gone and all the stuff they've done and all the stuff they've done there. And there's been some decent moments. Like I still don't know of any great moments on Fear the Walking Dead. There's been some pretty good ones. Season 6 was a very good season. I was hoping that they would have carried over into season 7. And there's been some decent moments in season 7. Like I like the whole thing with Rufus and this, it's like kind of cool, but then it was just like, what are we doing with Emil and the twin brother? And it's just like, man, this has gone crazy. It's just too much like a soap opera, and the Walking Dead universe is like a soap opera. It really is. So it's not something that, I don't know. It's just like, when you have this idea, hopefully it's rewarding to the people that write it or the people that watch it. And also the writers too. You want to have it be a great thing, but I just feel like it's too much all over the place too. Like Christy doesn't like the nuclear bomb stuff, and it's just like, do we need more nuclear? Do we need more problems? It's a zombie apocalypse. That's enough problems, right? You already have to worry about food, water, shelter, safety, guns, knives, ammunition, food, water, shelter, safety, over and over and over and over and over and over. As the time goes by, it's harder and harder to come by those things, right? Then you throw in the nuclear blast radiation. We already got enough problems. We need more problems on this too? You're like, come on, right? So, I don't know, but the Big Bang Shelter Q&A, will Walking Dead end with enough closure for people who don't want to continue with the spinoffs, or will there be a lot of setup for Daryl, Carol, Negan, and Maggie shows, as well as Rick and Michonne? That's a great question, the Big Bang Shelter. I don't know the answer. Only time will tell. But I'm going to go with, it's not going to be enough closure. Because if you're already talking about the spinoffs before the second part ends, you know it ain't going to be good. You know the main show ain't going to be a rewarding ending when you're like, don't worry, guys. This isn't going to be that great, but we're going to have this to satisfy stuff. Oh, it's not over yet. The Walking Dead universe is still going strong. But we'll have to see. Most shows and series finales suck. Like they just do, right? Like I'm a huge Sopranos fan. The series finale wasn't that great. It wasn't terrible. Some stuff happened, but the way it ended was left too open-ended. It was left too ambiguous. And that's by design. They could have done anything they wanted there too. So I'll have to see. But on a side note, guys, I watched the movie Uncharted yesterday. I thought it was pretty good. I'm a big Uncharted fan. I'm a PlayStation fan. I like the Uncharted games. Nathan Drake and Tom Holland does a good job as Nathan Drake, and Mark Wahlberg does a good job as Sully. But I don't know, if you're a hardcore gamer, it's hard to do that stuff too. It's hard to have the stuff live up to live action stuff as well. Like I'm really hoping The Last of Us, that game was that was a good game. The first game. The second game was all right. The first game was good. Second game was much to be desired. But I'm really hoping that show on HBO is going to be really good too. So we'll have to see. Yeah, Lindsay says, at least Daniel finally mentioned Skidmark. He did, that he lost Skidmark. So I don't think we're ever going to see Skidmark again. But again, that's the thing. You brought this cat in, and then, boop, gone. And then you saw the cat, and then, boop, gone. And you're like, oh, here it is, gone. And you're like, what are we doing here? Like, what is going on? What is going on here too? So, yeah, Rob K says, I watched the Batman last night. It was incredible. So Rob K said Uncharted was meh, and then Batman was incredible. I actually liked Uncharted better than the Batman. Both movies are good, but the Batman, and Robert Pattinson did a good job as the Batman, or Bruce Wayne as the Batman. The movie was good. It's just too long. I mean, it's like 3 hours. It's 2 hours and 56 minutes. It's like too much. It's like they tried to put in like this villain, that villain, backstory, this connection, Catwoman here. Like they're trying to do too much in one movie. But I think it was really good. I enjoyed it as well. But I actually liked Uncharted a little bit better. It was a little crazy. Yeah, Dragon says, felt Batman was too long with monologues. All the movies like that usually are. It's like, we have to cram enough information, so let's monologue. Let's talk about these things. And Alfred trained you because of Thomas Wayne. And you're like, what? Come on. Yeah, so yeah, it probably the Batman should have been like 2 movies. Like it really could, if you broke it up, be like, okay, we're on the Batman, the Batman 2. And they definitely set up a second Batman movie. But overall, I think Robert Pattinson did a good job. And I think everybody that's played Batman has done pretty well, except for Val Kilmer was all right, kind of bad, and George Clooney was meh. But so far, I like Michael Keaton and Robert Pattinson are pretty good too. So, but overall, guys, hopefully you guys are doing well. I'll be back next Sunday to talk about any other Walking Dead news. Fear the Walking Dead, of course. And we'll have to see how it goes down with some good stuff. Hopefully, Season 7, Episode 12 is the best episode so far. It's not hard to... Season 7, Episode 9, 10, and 11. The episodes 9, 10, and 11 aren't that great so far. It's a super slow burn, but hopefully it's building up for some really good stuff for 12 through 16. But there you go, guys. That's my hour. Thank you guys for being here. I'll be back next Sunday. We'll have to come up with some ideas for videos. If you have any ideas for videos, let me know in the comments and stuff there too. But once we find out more information about The Walking Dead and the Rick stuff, we will share it with you guys. Thank you guys for being here. Thank you to my awesome moderators, and thank you guys for being a part of it as always. And remember, with hard work, dedication, belief, and sacrifice, you can truly achieve your goals. Believe in yourself. You can do it. It's about love, support, staying positive, and making memories. Book update, Fight for Us, Book 16, Reckless. I got 5 chapters left to write. We're getting there, guys. I just want to get it done written and then go back, edit it, add, clean it up a little bit, and then my wife will read it and edit it, and then I will go through it again. So hopefully it'll be out this summer, but I'll be back to talk about everything Walking Dead universe next Sunday. Thank you guys. Stay